Hello, beautiful beings. I just wanted to pop on for a live video, and I wanted to actually talk a little bit about the election. I know. I don't know if I'm even going to get like shadow banned just saying the word election, but here we are. We're really in the thick of things. But ultimately, this is the perfect time right now, while we are really in between these two candidates, to manifest the future. Okay? This is a prime example of us. I mean, I don't know where you are. I'm sure not all of you are in America. But I think the world is looking to America right now in a lot of ways, looking at this election. And I think everyone, even beyond just people in the US, are kind of holding their breath for what's to come. And it's really wild how polarizing the ideas are that is behind this election. This right now is a mere representation of where we are within the global collective consciousness. We have one half of the population, literally like 50%, all thinking and believing and perceiving one thing. And we have the other half of the population in America thinking and believing the exact opposite thing. We are no longer at this point where we are just simply believing what we are being fed. Luckily, finally, as a society, we're thinking beyond that. And that's what I really appreciate about the current president, is that he's allowed us to push beyond being fed the lies from the mass media. More and more people can all agree after his term, after his presidency, that we've been fed lies long before he was ever, in office. And so it's great that people are waking up. Same thing with the whole QAnon movement. It's fantastic that this is pushing people to wake up. But in my understanding, it still doesn't mean that that is the right side, the right side. But Biden is also not the right side, okay? Because ultimately there is no right or wrong. If you're sitting at home and you're sweating and you're nervous and you're checking the election results and you're wondering about the future, you're going about it the wrong way. I cannot stress this enough. You're still getting caught up in polarity. You're still assuming that there is a right or wrong within this dynamic of the election. There is no conspiracy theory, there is no whistleblower, there is no channeler who is going to be able to say what is right and what is wrong. The more that you get trapped in choosing one side, the more you're pigeonholing yourself to the attachment, the expectation, and potentially the disappointment that could come along with whatever that result is. You're not feeding into the highest alignment. You're not allowing us to access what we need to access to move forward. You're full stopping yourself at one or the other possibility. You need to rise above that polarity. We're at a tipping point right now within the election. It could go very easily one side or the other side. Everyone's asking me, who do you think's going to win? And what's the energy? And what are you feeling over there in LA? And I'm so removed from it. I'm in my own bubble. The energy for me lifted off about a week ago, which is like, thank goodness, end of October, because all October I was feeling that heavy energy. And now I don't feel that, despite what's going on in America right now. I'm removing myself from that because I'm going back to time and time and time again the highest intention for humanity. And it was many months ago where the Galactic Federation came through during one of my monthly events, and they mentioned, when I asked them about the election, I said, who's going to win? Of course, everyone wants to know. And they told me that whoever needs to win in order to progress humanity and society is going to win. So I've been pretty chill. Like, they were very confident about saying that. They weren't freaking out. They weren't trying to get us on track for a different timeline. Now think about it. I'm not going to name names. But if one guy wins and he's super corrupt and he's a bullshitter and he's not aligned with the harmonic truth of humanity, if that guy wins, guess what's going to happen? A greater and deeper collapse of the economy, of the education system, of the environment, of politics is going to happen. We need that. We need that collapse. And the original timeline that I channeled years ago was 2020 to 2024. We've got 3 more years of this timeline. The timeline is the timeline of collapsing the old 3D. So don't hold any fear around who gets elected and what that's going to mean. Because ultimately, we need to collapse things so incredibly deeply that we need to get to a point of reform. It is always through an ego death. It is always through an energetic upset. It is always through a collapse where we are able to hold space to be reborn. So don't hold any fear. I don't care what side you're on with this election. What I'm saying is don't have a side. There is a side in this that isn't a side at all. It's above the sides. It's above the polarity. And it's for unity consciousness. And I will tell you right now that both of these candidates, they're not really great examples of unity consciousness. I think we can all agree on that, okay? So we need to ask for and make a clear and conscious statement to the collective, to the interdimensional beings that are helping us out, to our spirit guides and our higher selves. I am ready to go through what it takes to step into unity consciousness on this planet. And when you make that statement, the right person will win. It is the right person to help us go through the absolute and utter chaos we are about to experience in the next 4 years. Then we bring someone on who's a fucking light worker, who's a powerhouse, who is not even known in the public eye right now after that 4-year term is done. We need a placeholder, okay? They are not going to come in, no matter who is elected, they are not going to come in and save us at all. They are here to help us navigate the collapse that is about to happen, okay? We don't need a savior. We don't need, a knight in shining armor. We just need someone who's going to allow us to collapse. And that could be either party. Because ultimately, either way, I hold the highest intention that whoever is the puppet in front of the masses is not the one doing the work. He is the face. He is in so many freaking press meetings, he being whichever one gets elected, okay? Once again, it doesn't matter. Because I'm holding the highest conscious vibrational frequency for unity consciousness. That work is so much higher than a 3rd dimension body. That work that we're all about to go through collectively is so much higher than a choice of left or right, of red or blue. If you're getting caught up in red or blue, left or right, you're missing the fucking point. You're missing the bigger picture. You're not allowing yourself to be in 5D. If you're sitting at home sweating, looking at results right now, you're missing the point. You're missing 5D vibration altogether. Sit at home, burn some sage, light some candles, get a fucking crystal grid going, talk to your animals, chill out with your partner, pull some oracle cards, and hold the highest vibration. That's your job. If you're on my channel, if you're watching this right now, you're a light worker. You should not be getting sucked into the masses and the fear and the worry and the outcome. There are much higher individuals, involved in the current state of things. Okay? Neither one of these players are in charge of the outcome of America or the world. So chill. Okay? Hold the highest vibrational frequency for unity consciousness. And the right person will win to allow the collapse to happen. And I'm going to repeat that. The right person will win to allow the collapse to happen. We are still in a collapse. This next 4-year term, 3 years of that is an absolute and utter chaotic collapse. Okay? This is not a time to be reborn. This is a time to reform everything that has ever been wrong, which is everything. Okay? And it's a time to reform yourself and remove yourself from the chaos in the world. If 2020 has not already taught you how important it is to remove yourself from the collective consciousness, let this moment, let the election teach you right now, before you have to go through another 3 years of depression and anxiety and lack of controlling your own body and release and emotions. Because you're feeling too much, okay? Healthy boundaries, cutting cords, super, super important. Let go of one side or the other. Find your unity. Find your harmony. I trust you. I believe that you can do this. I believe that we can tip the scale. There is no truth about who is better. But as long as we hold that highest vibration, whatever needs to happen will happen. We can tip the scales. We have to have this collective death before we have a rebirth. The more of you removing yourself from what's going on right now globally, the better we're going to be at moving into unconditional love frequency. And if you don't yet unconditionally love yourself enough to separate yourself from the masses, then you will never help the collective unconditionally love each other. It all starts from within. And this is the time that we do that work. So I know a couple of you wanted me to come on here and shoot off a couple of messages about the election, about what's going on. I hope that this finds you well today. Let go. Center yourself. Align yourself to the highest intention. Unity consciousness, here we come. But we need to collapse generations and thousands of years of polarity consciousness on this planet before we shift. So just hold the frequency and be patient and be loving to yourself and others. Don't get caught up in the left or the right. It's all an illusion. It's a mechanism to keep us trapped. So let me ask you, do you feel free? Or are you still trapping yourself within the limitations of this matrix? And with that, I love you all so much. Keep up the good work. Bye for now.